I imagine you probably thought when you played them in December that come this time of the season you'd hope you'd be right on their coattails up with them.
I think that was always the aim, yeah. But obviously it hasn't worked out that way. We gave a great account of ourselves up there. Should have won the game. A deflected shot in the 92nd minute was a bit difficult to take at the time, but that's where the similarity ends. To be honest, they've kicked on, and we haven't been able to do so. But they've got they're a big club in this division. They've got a big budget. They've got a big squad, and full credit to them.
I was reading an article about marathon runners the other day, and the phrase "hit the wall" came up, which often applies to marathon runners. Would you say that this group, in a sense, almost hit a wall in January, and you've been running in Treacle a bit since?
It's something similar to that. I think, yeah, you're not far away. I wouldn't say we've hit a wall, but just things have conspired against us. We've picked up one or two injuries. We've had one or two big players have had a loss of form, and just things haven't gone as well as we would have wanted. I don't think the players have done that bad. I think there's been some good performances in amongst some poor results as well. So it's been a big learning curve for everybody, and I'm sure everybody will benefit from the experience of this season.
And psychologically then, it must be important for you to try and get a win in this last home game, given what's happened at home recently.
Of course it is. But even if we win on Saturday, it doesn't guarantee that we're going to do any. Doesn't guarantee anything next season. Or it can put you in a better frame of mind. Yeah. Our aim is to finish this season properly, and that means upsetting Shrewsbury on Saturday. They need to beat us. We need to make sure that we put in a performance to try and give the fans something even more to shout at. They'll bring a good support down. Jenny's just said that they'll be of around 1,500, which is superb. But that just shows what their catchment is, and their supporters can do when they're going for things. And hopefully ours turn up in the numbers as well and get behind the boys for one last big push and hopefully 3 points.
But a win would sort of quell any sort of hangover, would it, into next year, to try and get this sort of psychology of winning at home?
Of course it would. Of course it would. But we haven't set about trying to lose the last few games, So we'll go in it positive with a positive result, a bit of confidence back from from Monday, and try and go about our business and try and work hard and try and play well.
Have you any clue yet as to whether this will be the last time home fans will see Wes Thomas in a Cheltenham shirt, or are you still hopeful of him staying?
Come and watch him just to make sure. That's what I'd say. Listen, we've keep talking. Wes wants to keep his options open, and that's his prerogative. It could well be at home, but let's just worry about that when it comes. We'll continue to try and fight for him, but sometimes other things conspire against you, and you've just got to get on with it. So what will be on that score. Wes has had a tremendous season. He's been a big part of us, and him and Jeff earlier in the season were pretty unplayable at times, but we'll do all we can to keep him.
Would the side that started on Monday have earned the chance to start again?
Yeah, there's every chance. We've got one or two not training today, one or two bumps and bruises just who we're looking after. Where's his girlfriend's due any day now, so we've got a couple of contingencies, but yeah, of course you don't want to change a winning team, especially when you haven't been winning too much of late. If everyone's fit and available, we'll be somewhere near that.
Just last, you said about a learning curve. In a sense, almost three distinct phases since you've been here. Sort of the patching up to get to the end of the season last time, the first half of this season where things were going swimmingly, and then a tougher time since then. If you roll all that up, does that give you a better base to go forward from, because you know what to expect come next August?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we know what we want to implement to make us a better team as well. But it's just whether we can do that, whether we can have the funds available to do that. We want to take the club forward, and like I say, myself, Neil, all my staff will be speaking, with the board, with the chairman, to try and ensure that we get as much as we can to increase the playing budget, to increase the chances of success, and because we all want that, we all want to be, and we all want this club to be a success.
And just lastly for me, just to pick up the point you made on Monday, I don't want a bunch of cloggers, I think was your line. Can you
can mix it.
Play football in this division and be successful?
Without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. Chesterfield do, Bury do. There's the top two teams already for you. Without a shadow of a doubt, you can. And we all play football differently. We all want to play a different, want to play our own styles and stuff like that. I want to see us playing good football, but I want to see us playing football where we win football matches as well. And we've got to try and marry the two. After the games, sometimes you can be a bit emotive. You can be a bit, your thoughts is on the game, and you're asking me questions, and
you answer
it's
them.
But sometimes I can get, managers can get sort of caught up in something else and thinking there's an ulterior motive and stuff like that. People have said we need to have, more competitive players, more, and they compare the likes of, people say, Stevenage have got a team of 6'3" pluses and stuff like that, and Macclesfield, who we played on Saturday. You've got to marry the two. You can't be a team full of, Barcelona-sized players, because with all due respect, they haven't got the ability. But you've got to have competitive players. But you've got to have. I understand the need for a mix of everything, and we'll do all we can to make sure that we're as good as we can be in every department next season.
And just lastly on that point, you have mentioned the word attitude before. Is that something in a sense that, apart from skill, you have to put that blend in as well?
Yeah, I think we need somebody who's some players who've got a little bit about them as well, in terms of in the dressing room. Not that we haven't, but you're always looking for that one who can really grab the ball by the horns out there on a pitch, and one criticism I could level this season's squad is that they're a quiet bunch, and that one who's going to go and make things happen out there. We haven't necessarily got. We've got people who lead by example, but we haven't probably got leaders who go and grab people by the throat and demand things, and it's only a good demand. It's not doing it just for show. It's a demand to get more from each other, and that those are probably lacking in the game right now. There might be too many of them, but we've got to go and try and find them.
Great, thank you.
Mark, everyone knows the budget was cut this season, very tight. Do you think the club need to speculate to accumulate if you're going to progress next season?
From my conversations with the chairman and the board, all I know is that they will do all they can to give me as much as they can, and I will be very appreciative of that, because I think they know that it has been tight, and like I said, it's not an excuse, but it's been hard to kick on when we've needed to. There was a little bit of money available, for loans. Probably didn't work out as well as we would have wanted. We've got to have a clearer plan, and I'll have that clearer plan, but hopefully we'll have a little bit more money to spend as well. But like I say, I'm not expecting fortunes, and I'm not expecting miracles. It's tight out there, and the board, the chairman do a brilliant job for the football club, and I'm sure we'll continue to do so.
Yeah. Those two lone wingers you brought, you were crying out for width for ages. That seemed like the only thing that was missing. Those two not quite working out as you like. Was that that was a key point this season?
I think I got one or two things wrong with one or two. It didn't work out as well as I would have wanted to. There was a big clamour for width and a big clamour for throughout, and I probably came off where I wanted to come off, where I wanted to be a little bit in terms of what I wanted to do, but we couldn't get the people we wanted right at that time. But that's what it's about. That's what you learn, and that's what you've got to try and be strong. And like I say, we'll have a clearer plan, and we'll better next year. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. Other than Wes, are there any other players that you're not sure about whether they're going to be here or not next season, or have you pretty much made your mind up about all of them?
No, we're still we're still playing for our futures. You know, one or two are still playing for futures. One are still playing for just to convince me. I don't think now's the time. You know, we've got 10 days to the end of the season. They're a terrific bunch of players to work with. Yes, we've got to improve individually and as a group, and whoever's here next year, that'll be our aim.
Yeah, Louis Barnfather's gone. Does that mean you think Dan Lloyd Weston's worth another look for another year, or have you decided on that yet?
Well, look, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I like Danny. He's been unlucky, and I probably need to throw him in one of the next games.
Yeah, and a lot of the fans, I know you don't know whether he's going to be here or not yet, but a lot of the fans have been asking whether you've been looking for potential replacements for Wes already, because you have got a decent record of uncovering goal scorers, haven't you? Kidderminster around here.
Of course, I've been looking at. You know, I go to reserve games. Neil goes to reserve games, and George does, and other people do for us. We've got a list, but at the minute it's just we've got to see what happens with Wes, see what happens with a number of things, and we'll go from there. It's although you try and do stuff as the season goes on, sometimes you've got to just sit back and just, you know, we won't rush into anything. If Wes decides to stay, brilliant. If not, then we'll move on and try and replace him with somebody who can score goals for us.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, one home result's not going to make any major difference next season, but in terms of the mindset of the fans and season tickets sale now and things like that.
Definitely, definitely, absolutely. We owe the supporters a performance on Saturday and a result, and you know, together hopefully we can do that. You know, we've got a big incentive to go, and we don't want somebody coming to our patch and celebrating. You know, that more than as much as anything else. They'll have a big contingent. They'll make a lot of noise. They'll get right behind their team. And at 5 o'clock, you know, we don't necessarily, and that's no disrespect to Shrewsbury, we don't want other teams celebrating on our home ground. So it's even more of an incentive to go and win the game. When
there's 1,500 away fans and against a team near the top, sometimes that can suit you, I think, can't it? When the onus is on them, the pressure be on them, and
if you like. But we've got to put a little bit of pressure on ourselves to make sure that we perform as well. So it'll be a decent game. And we'll give it our best to try and win the game.
Yep.